Hello, hope everyone's doing well. And today we're looking at Tempesta and the Fountain of Youth event. So this would be an event for the new faction, Tempesta. Previously we just had Royal Fortune. Now she's got some friends to hang out with. Mixed feelings on this one. Ships are seem cool, like some of their designs, but it didn't occur to me when I was first looking at them that this would be an issue, and that it would be an issue at all because instead of just being submarine fleet only, we now have two Vanguard fleet ships and one main fleet ship. Now, there's a problem with sailing frigates being in Azur Lane. Azur Lane takes place mostly around, World War II. They bounce back to World War One for a little bit, but a big part of World War II was planes, and sailing frigates conceptually do not have any way to deal with planes. So, and in game, they don't have anti-air weapons, so that sucks. So for their later game content, I'm unsure about using them past like chapter 10, because once you start getting to like 12 and then 13, 14, 15, like just going up and up, usage is going to be very limited, I'm thinking, or else you just can't run a full faction fleet for that. That's what I'm fearing for them, which is unfortunate. You run like San Diego or some Reno or some good AA ship, Shimanto, Leipzig, someone like that with them, and that will help, but then you can't run the full faction fleet, and you'll be sad. So yeah, it's mixed feelings on that. For stages without planes or challenge mode bosses without planes, so there's been quite a few of these. Much more possibility for them being useful there. And overall, I think they will all be much better later on once we have another Tempesta event to kind of fill out this squad. That way, we have a full fleet of Tempesta because right now we only have one main fleet ship. We can run a full submarine fleet and an almost full Vanguard fleet, but nowhere close for the main fleet. So hopefully we will get close to that soon. Overall, should you pull just briefly? If you have Shimakaze, sure. If you don't have Shimakaze, but you have plenty of cubes to spare, because Shimakaze is coming up. We've got Shimakaze rerun confirmed. We have the Senran Kagura collab event coming up confirmed. We don't know when for either. And there's supposed to be another a new UR event coming up towards the end of the year or beginning of next year. So yeah, it's a bit of a packed schedule. So if you got those 200 cubes, just for the guaranteed Shimakaze, if you don't have her, I'd say okay, go ahead and pull. Just make sure you get up to that level for when she returns. Just don't go down to like 100 or zero. That wouldn't be good. If you have like 800 or something, then you're absolutely fine pulling. I got all my ships in 56. I pull in groups of 7. Overall for like the gear and like how much should you grind? If you plan on using these ships, then you should grind a bunch, get all the gear, try and get some extra copies of blueprints from SP6 or Stage 6. This event does not have normal hard mode, it just has a row of 6. It's fairly easy to do. And the officers in this are really good for Tempesta ships. And what's really nice about them is that their stats are fixed, so there's no RNG involved, and they have the same skills. So you don't have to worry about, having to farm a bunch of cat boxes and just getting screwed on bad me officers, and then the event ends. You don't have any good me officers for Tempest, so you get good cats. That's what I read. Overall, that seems pretty easy to do. Stage 6 boss, the boss fight itself, it's only level 100, so if you start out fairly recently, you should be able to clear most of it. SP boss is 105, so if you've been playing a while, it should be plenty easy to do. Be aware, stage 6 boss is Whydah, I believe, who starts submerged, and so if you don't want to wait for her to surface, then you just bring a destroyer or a light cruiser, and they can just throw depth charges at her. Maybe even bring a hedgehog. All the stages except for the last one, stage 6, need 2 clears to move on. Stage 6 needs 3, but then that's the last one to be farming. What I would recommend doing is doing your 2 clears, and then that way you unlock clearing mode. And what you also unlock is fleet lock, that toggle. That way you can just move your fleets in and it just automatically attacks, and I don't have to press that extra button. And so I'd recommend doing your 2 clears and then doing that 3rd clear for defeat all enemies then, just to make things a little bit quicker. That's what I end up doing. That's one thing that sucks about doing new events is that you have to manually click a bunch of times. I'd recommend 3-star everything for the normal mission rewards, just because there's a couple bullens, there's a SR bullen, SSR bullen, cubes, some other goodies. So I'd grab those, and also some of the special event missions that give event specific rewards. Those require you to 3 stars from the later stages. So I believe 4 and 5 are the ones you need to do. There's an oil cap, but it only applies to stages 5 and 6, which have SSR blueprints. Now, only stage 6 I'd say is worth farming. I haven't seen the ship drops, but what I've been getting is like York and nothing too crazy, so I wouldn't worry about farming anything other than stage 6. So that was a brief overview. Let's look at the ship specifically. So first up is Golden Hind. This is Drake's ship, so the individual that our PR3 Drake is named after, this is that guy's actual ship, the Azur Laneified version of it. Now, like I said, the ships have issues with not having anti-air stats, which sucks. I was using Golden Hind for the first couple event stages while grinding, just to get her some EXP. And I just noticed her speed is ungodly low. Now, it looks like at limit break she gets +8 each time, so it brings her up to a 36, which isn't bad. She can equip the guns from the event, so the cannons, it says ZD guns, but it means she has 3 auxiliary slots, so you can throw something else in there. And for her skills, Pierce the Misveil buffs her firepower and reload by 12% and creates a area effect around her that decreases enemy speed by 20%, which is nice, but you just have to be. In addition to this area effect with the slowing, it also inflicts 30 damage per second to enemies within it. So if you're in a tight crowd, that can be decent. And when the battle starts, if there's no Tempesta ship in your fleet, this damage increases to 60. So would like to have someone like Sao Martinho in the fleet. And her second skill, Hinhorn's Grace, decreases her damage taken by 15%. And every 18 seconds, fire a special barrage. It's just pretty much a full screen covering of tentacles. Sounds nice. Good coverage. And then once per battle, when the ship's HP falls below 40%, as a result of damage taken, evades all attacks for 3 seconds and recovers 15% of her max HP. So that's quite nice. All these ships get augment modules, so she gets one too. What this changes is her Inhorn's Grace Plus. Enemies hit by the barrage, so this is every 18 seconds there's a barrage. Those enemies take 8% more damage from Tempesta ships for 6 seconds, so she buffs quite nicely your other Tempesta ships with that. So yeah, overall, seems pretty solid in the skill department. It's just the fact she doesn't have an anti-air stat and her speed starts out really low. I don't know about, and no ASW. So, a lot of all the modern good stuff they don't have, which sucks. Next up is Sao Martinho. I believe this is Portuguese ship, so forgive me. I'm not good with Portuguese. A little Spanish, but not Portuguese. She is the backliner, so she's basically the battleship equivalent. So she can whip the big cannons. Gets main gun base, auxiliary gun base, gun efficiency. Pretty nice. Gets her up to 110. And she has 2 sets of the smaller cans, so that's nice. The overall, got pretty good firepower stat actually. 425 at level 120, that's nice. So yeah, overall, stat-wise, seems decent. But then it's just that lack of anti-air stat once again. Sucks. Skills, Untarnished Brilliance of Gold. When the battle starts, deploys a barrier that lasts 30 seconds that can negate up to 10% of the ship's max HP and damage, and increases the ship's firepower by 10%, and decreases their damage taken by 20% until the battle ends. While the ship is afloat, increase your Tempesta ship's firepower and damage dealt by 10%. So this is basically your faction buffer for now. This is your Nagato. This is your Vittorio Veneto. This is your Richelieu. This is those ships, but for Tempesta. Very good. So we want to running her in a Tempesta theme fleet. So her and Golden Hind seem to be the best two for the time well, I don't want to say time being. Long term, I can see them being a good combination, but for now, just I'm unsure about the fact they don't have an anti-air stat where they're gonna fall in at. And then her other skill, Peerless Cans of Destruction. When the battle starts, if there are 2 more Tempesta ships in your fleet, so if you run her in Golden Hind, there you go. Decrease the loading of the ship's first volley by 80%, and when she fires her main guns, fires a special barrage. And the special barrage does not require the 2 Tempesta ships, so you can run her solo. Now, her Asian Augment module decreases the loading time for first volley by 80% and changes her armor time to medium armor. So she was light armor, now she's medium armor. She doesn't have the requirement for Tempesta ships. Okay. When she fires her main guns, it's a special barrage with a 10% chance to inflict a special flooding ailment to enemies hit for 18 seconds. The barrage and flooding damage are based off the ship's firepower stat and skills level, and the flooding damage procs once every 3 seconds. So, yeah, pretty solid flagship. Doesn't have to be a flagship role, but just your faction buffer. That's really nice. So, yeah, pretty solid. Now, here you have the ship I feel like will be the most useful in the short to medium term, just based off her type. So, Mary Celeste is a submarine fleet sailing frigate. Get okay firepower. She can use the little cannons, then all assault, Main gun efficiency plus 5%. Improve hunting range twice. That's really nice. So yeah, stats overall seem decent. Got really good hit. So for her skills, Unseen Phantom, increased damage dealt by 20%. And when she's attacked, 50% chance for the ship to enter Phantom state. Now this buffs her evasion rate by 10% and lasts for 5 seconds. And when the state ends, so she comes out of her ghost mode, fires a special barrage, and there's a 15-second cooldown between Phantom state activations. So basically a 20-second cycle. Now her augment module, what this does is changes Unseen Phantom when one, so the basically the same buffs as before, the same proc chances to enter Phantom state, and then when the state ends, one random enemy is chosen, and for 5 seconds, Mary Celeste deals 15 increased damage to this enemy, and she fires a special barrage that always deal critical damage. That's pretty cool. And she is a submarine, so well, she's not going to be out submerged. She'll be on the surface, but like she has some good tanking and firepower abilities. It'd be really cool if that wasn't just for her; it was for your other Tempesta ships. But gotta balance it somehow. And then Ghost Ship of the Deep. When the battle starts, buffs firepower by 10% and restores 25% of her max HP. So if you run her multiple battles, this is useful because she can get hit a little bit, and when she retreats, just like Royal Fortune, she heals. And when the ship's evasion rate increases as a result of one of her skills activating, restores 5% of the ship's max HP. So, she can have a 5% heal every 20 seconds, theoretically. Once per battle, 5 seconds after the ship's HP falls below 40% as a result of damage taken, or 60 seconds after she has entered the battle, summons a ghost ship which copies some of the ship's stats, then the ship leaves the battle. The ghost ship lasts for 5 seconds, is on attack, and percentage of stats it copies increases based on the skill's level. So, it spawns a decoy. That's interesting. So, most all the submarines just will have a barrage they fire when they depart. She summons a decoy. That's interesting. So yeah, I think Mary Celeste will probably be the best in the short to medium term. Maybe the best overall. Just the fact she's not taken away from your anti-air. She's has some use. So next up we have Adventure Galley. She is part of the Vanguard fleet. Now I don't like her name. I wish it was like a subtitle or her subclass of frigate. It just feels like she had a proper name, not just Adventure Galley. That feels like could mean anything. But stats look decent overall. Got good amount of HP. She equipped the small cannons, some extra speed, all assault, handgun efficiency, pretty nice. Now for her skills, Claws of Mistrust buffs her evasion, and she fires the weapon in her main gun slot. So the first one fires a special barrage. So you don't have a whole lot of options right now for choosing what weapons she has, but the fastest one for her first slot, pretty good option. Second skill, Treasure of the Low Protector, increases evasion rate by 7%. And once she gets damaged to below 30% health, heals her HP by 8%. So, not the best heal. It was like 10, 15, and the threshold was 40, 45, maybe. But that's just, I don't know, I don't like being that low. So, she has an augment module, Treasure of the Low Protector. This buffs her evasion rate still. Once per battle, when the ship's HP falls below 50%, restores 8% HP. Also, once per battle, she has, when she falls below 35%, so same as the original skill, restores 8% HP again. So she gets 2 heals at different thresholds. So that's better. Not huge fan of the 35, but, hopefully she's not getting too low. Just make sure you throw a toolbox on her. Okay. She is the point accumulation ship, so wasn't expecting too much out of her. But, and lastly, we have Whydah. Why the heck is she here? Um, she is a submarine sailing frigate, so she can hang out with Royal Fortune and Mary Celeste. Overall, seems okay stat wise. Gets extra hunting range twice. Firepower is a little weaker, but she's an elite, so it makes sense. Skills for a good night's sleep. The battle starts every 10 seconds for a special attack. Okay. And augment module buffs for a good night's sleep. And so as long as one enemy hit by the previous barrage is afloat, increase her damage taken by 25%. That's nice. Help keep her alive for maybe a projected fight. And her second skill, What a Pain, increases firepower by 15%, and when the battle starts, restores 8% of max HP once per second for 5 seconds. So 40% HP. That's pretty nice. and then 5 seconds after the ship's HP falls below 30%, or 45 seconds after she has entered battle, the ship leaves the battle. So yeah, she's on a timer. So all the sailing frigates are on a timer. They don't have oxygen stats because they are on the surface, as you would expect from a frigate. I think I like her a bit more than Adventure Galley, because she has a better name and her skills seem a bit better. But yeah, hope you found it useful. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.